Hello everyone and welcome back to Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the SEGA Mega Drive. I am One Wild Sheep, and this, folks, is the ultimate second game level I've ever played. What am I on about? Basically, this is what I consider to be the best second level in any game ever. Can you tell I love this game yet? Now, I'm not the only one in this opinion as well. Everyone I know, when they think Sonic the Hedgehog 2, one of the very first things that goes into their minds is Chemical Plant Zone, this level, and why? It is very fast, very fulfilling, very amazing to go through. And speaking of going through, in one of the acts in this stage, you can actually go through the loops, as in the actual physical loop. You can go straight through them if you go too fast. Unfortunately, in this playthrough, I don't perform that, but nearly every playthrough I've done this, I've gone through the loop and I get stuck in there, and that must be one of the dreaded traps that the actual game manual must explain. But of course, Act 1, very simple. This is how quick the game goes by if you don't get the Chaos Emeralds. 53. I've never found the Chaos Emerald signpost in the first act, so that's one reason why I didn't go for it. But don't be fretting, people, because at the end of this part, well, let's put it like this part is 2 zones as opposed to 1 zone, so there's that. But anyway, you might see the giant blue thing at the bottom of the screen. A lot of people don't know this, but that is actually the Mega Drive. And that is the overscan area. Back in the day, nobody saw this area of the game, and that's because this was basically where a lot of information was held to keep the palette, the game's palette in check. I think that was the reason for it anyway, but I could be wrong. I don't know much about these old systems in terms of how they work. I just know cartridges go in, game plays, I play games. But basically the big blue thing is there because there's a lot of water in this zone. And the water is actually known as Mega Mac. And what is it? It's just water. That's all it is. You go into the water, you have the same amount of time until you drown. And we won't actually be seeing it. Why? Because I'm going to show off a special way that I know a lot of people don't know to skip that section entirely. Now, the section as a whole isn't difficult to get by. Just jump up on a bunch of moving blocks and that's all there is to it. By the way I'm going, you're going to skip that section entirely right after I get a Chaos Emerald, actually. Of course, as like in Sonic 1, if you get 100 rings, you get an extra life. So, there's that. So, this is the section. If you go on up to this top floor, you'll get moving to the area where I told you can skip the water section entirely. But first I want to get me a Chaos Emerald, because Chaos Emerald, son. And it's a lovely puke green. Delicious colour. I couldn't have chose a better colour design if I wanted to. I couldn't because it suits the Chaos Emeralds. It's green Chaos Emeralds that we're getting. As you can tell, folks, the special stage actually do represent the colours of the Chaos Emeralds we're getting, so if you want to know what color emerald we're getting, just look at the emerald stage. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say to it. But Chemical Plant Zone, very fast-paced level. One of the few levels in the franchise, I believe, where you can actually outrun the screen. That's right, the screen. You know, the thing that keeps your character on the screen. You can outrun it in this game. You can outrun it in the Sonic Master System version as well, but it's a bit less impressive in there because I wasn't moving as fast. But yeah, you can. Blast processing is at its finest with this, and like I said, this is the game that made me just sort of shrug off Mario as no big deal. That and the fact that I wasn't a big fan of the 2D Marios apart from Mario World, which I'll get into when I LP them, because they are fine games and I do love them, just not as much. But to continue onwards, you have to collect all the rings, and this is where the ring limits are getting a bit difficult. And one of the best bits of advice I can probably give you is stay at the bottom left or bottom right segments of the tube, because they're the safest parts, because as you can normally guess, the bombs will either go straight to the middle or to the middle of the right or left part of the tube, and staying at the bottom left will pretty much ensure you're just in the right position to dodge everything without having to move. Of course, when you are on the slopes of this tube, you will start moving to the center automatically, so you will need to keep tapping left on the D-pad or right on the D-pad, regardless which way you want to go. You know, which way you want to stay. Countering gravity and such. But of course, we get through this just fine. Very simple special zone. Collect all the rings, boop-de-boop. And like I said, if you have a second controller plugged in and you have Sonic and Tails playing the game, player 2, whoever that is, will actually control Tails in these segments. And he can actually move left and right and collect rings of his own accord. Very useful if you're not playing single player. In fact, you can do that in normal levels as well, and this is a mechanic that actually stays with the Sonic franchise all the way up into Shadow the Hedgehog of all games, where you can basically just plug in the player 2 controller and whoever you want can play as player 2. You'll probably outrun them 99% of the time, but they're there. It's there if you want someone to help. Or if you have like a 6-year-old nephew or niece who wants to play the game, you play player 1, just give them the second controller and leave them have fun. But by here, what you want to do is basically spin dash and jump. This is a very not well-known secret. And it skips an entire water section. And if you don't like water sections, I advise going this way. I don't mind water sections, so the only reason I'm showing this off is because I know a lot of people don't like the water section of the stage. So showing this off, I think it would help out a couple of people who want to play the game and can't get past their zone because of that. But of course, when we get to this section, we're going to have a long stretch of just nothing, which makes me question, why does it give us... It gives us an invincibility power. We don't need it, because the boss is right around the corner, and the boss isn't going to hurt us. So basically, if you can move left, you can't move left any further, because we're at the boss area. And basically, as soon as the boss music starts, jump to the right and hold down the jump button and keep holding right. Count for 8 hits, then jump back into the middle platform, and Eggman dies. Every single boss in this game, bar the last 3, can be cheesed in a way like this. I'm not kidding. You can destroy every boss except for the last 3 in a similar fashion. And basically, the only reason why you can't do the last 3 is because one involves a timing mechanic, one involves you waiting and dodging a laser beam, and the final one... Well, the final one's just difficult, let's just say that. But anyway, welcome to Aquatic Ruin Zone. And for those of you who don't know, this was actually meant to be the original first level of the game. This was meant to be stage 1, back in the beta version of the game, where this was also, or not even called Aquatic Ruin. The stage was actually called Neo Green Hill Zone, Neo standing for new. And of course, it's a very simple, very quick level to get by, and it's also a water level. Where's the water? You can skip the water. What? A water level where you can skip the water. What? You might be thinking? Well, yeah. And that's why I love this. My favourite water level in the entire series, because you don't need to touch the water. Like, I could go on that platform and go into the water now. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to show off the top route. And I should have blown that box up. What the hell? What? Sonic the Hedgehog. He goes so fast. He goes through things. And the things don't even notice him. Wow! But anyway, there's Act 1 over and done with. Very easy level. Of course, it is harder than Emerald Hill Zone, so I can see why they pushed the stage to this point in the game. So, there's that. That makes sense, I guess. So, Act 2, of course, is a little bit longer zone. And of course, we're actually going to drop into the water. And the main reason I'm dropping into the water here is 2 reasons. 1, I messed up the jump. And 2, I don't see a lot of LPs actually go to this water section. Every time I watch an LP, if it's an experienced Sonic player that is, they don't go through this section. If it's someone playing the game for the first time, or someone who's just not that experienced with the game, they usually go down here, but that's what I normally find. And oh god, the dreaded drowning music, yes! Oh, that left this just a nightmares we had because of that music. I mean, how would you feel if suddenly you're walking around and suddenly all you hear dun 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 dun. It give you a heart attack, and that's why I took it off my iPod. But what you want to do whenever you're underwater is basically look for these bubble piles, like in Sonic 1. Whenever the big bubble pops out, you just pop the bubble, you get air, and that's all there is to it. Very easy. And I despise this pillar. What you want to do is actually manipulate the spin to get on it, and I'm convinced it's luck based. Sometimes I can get on that pillar, sometimes I don't. I really don't understand it. But of course, stage, fantastic music. In fact, the entire game has fantastic musics. Musics. That's good. That's a good verb, yeah. Well, it's not a verb, it's a noun. Derp. But yeah, fantastic music in this game. Over every level. This is one of the games that I would consider to have a perfect soundtrack. And nearly every one of my top games I'd consider to have a perfect soundtrack. Banjo-Kazooie, I consider the soundtrack to be a perfect soundtrack, and that's how you know if I love a game. Well, one of the ways I really love a game, to the point of, yes, if a soundtrack is listenable to at any given time, they've done a good job with it. But anyway, this is the final Chaos Emerald stage, and as you would expect, it is fitting of a final Chaos Emerald stage, because it is very difficult. Right now it looks pretty easy. And I'm not gonna lie, right now it is easy. You just jump from the left to the right to the left and avoid, you know, while keeping to a set pattern so you avoid the bombs in the middle. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You don't even need to jump. If you can time it right, you can just run in between them. I'm not doing that because it's bloody dangerous, that's why I'm not, but... yeah, final special stage. And what happens when you reach the edge of the segment? What happens when we reach the third section of the special stage? Well, I don't know. I think it's either the second or third section where they just start throwing rings at random. I think it's the third. Yeah, it's the third one. So just continue moving from left to right to left to right. That's basically what the entire special stage really boils down to, moving left and right. It's really one of the easier ones to manage, one of the easier ones to memorize, until you get to the third section. Oh, it's going to be fun explaining the third section to you guys. Oh, yes! Because basically there's going to be tons of bombs coming your way, and tons of rings coming your way, in a random pattern. What do you mean a random pattern? Well, this is what I mean. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! So much rings! Wow! What I can't do with its ringing, man! That's what's going through Sonic's head right now. That's right, they throw them at random spots. They are easy to collect. You just need to think about where they're gonna be and you can just run into them. But as you can see, bombs will come out of nowhere. The bombs will hurt you. Fortunately, there's more than enough rings to get by. The special stage 7 is not too hard once you know where to go. Just watch out for the bombs because the bombs will mess you up. I am guaranteeing you will get hit by the bombs at the special stage because you can't see them 90% of the time and they'll hit you. That's how it works. That's how special stage 7 goes, bro. But yeah, collect all the chaos emeralds. Collect all the rings, the sky will flash in a seizure-tastic colour scheme, and you get the last emerald. And what's our beautiful reward for all 7 chaos emeralds, folks? Super Sonic. That's right, Super freaking Sonic. Which we're not going to see in this part, because now we're going to fight a boss, and every time you enter a special stage, you lose all your rings. All 50 rings or 100 or whatever rings you got, you'll lose them. So you'll come out of the special stage with 0 rings, that's why I went back to get 2 just in case. And the way to cheese this boss, as you probably guessed, is jumping on his pillar and just jumping into him. Easy peasy, he's got nothing to deal with, he's gone. And most of the bosses are probably the most underwhelming point of this game. Once you know how to cheese them, they're the easiest bosses in gaming history. There he is, he's over and done with. Eggman's done, son. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people, and when we return next time, we'll start taking on the rest of the game and show off the glorious Super Sonic and the most annoying aspect about him as well. Thanks for watching, people. Don't be sheepish. Catch you all next time. Bye!